Yeah, we can start. Neha, please take over.
Sure, sir. Thank you. So, good afternoon to everybody. Today we have with us Dr. Madhan Kumar Srinivasan, who is the Associate Vice President and Lead of Cloud AI and Patents at Accenture Innovation Hub, Bengaluru. He is also the Advisory Board Member of Cambridge Scholars Publishing UK and the Founder Member of Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India. He is an inventor of 76 commercially successful cloud AI and analytics product patents that are independently filed as multi-continent patents in USA, Europe, UK, Australia, Singapore, and India regions. These products are capable of generating $100 million plus annual savings for 300 companies, many of which are Fortune 500 companies. His granted patents were positioned as Global Top 12 and 13 in Accenture Invention of the Year contest for his Executive Management Program in Business Analytics from IIM Calcutta and his PhD from Hindustan University. He is also certified Cloud Solutions Architect, Microsoft Azure Cloud Certified, and CR Certified Big Data Professional. In his career spanning nearly 2 decades, he has received many awards and accolades recognizing his achievements. He was the recipient of Accenture Inventor Award for 5 consecutive years from 2017, the Albert Nelson Marcus Lifetime Achievement Award 2018 from Marcus LLC, New Jersey, Top 100 Scientist Award 2014 from IBC Cambridge, Cloud Tech Guru Award Teacher Award for the year 2010 from Teachers Academy at Osmania University, India. He was recognized as Accenture Epic Innovator, Prolific Inventor in 2019, one of the top 10% most viewed LinkedIn profiles in India for 2012, featured in Accenture Greater Than Awards for 4 consecutive years from 2018, nominated under Top 100 Great People Managers category by Forbes India and GMI for Forbes 100 list 2020, and he has received a special personal recognition letter from Accenture CEO Julie Sweet for his patents and innovation. It is with immense pleasure that we welcome you to this session, sir. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the stage to Dr. Madhan.
Thanks, Neha, for the wonderful introduction. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. Thanks to MYRA School of Management for hosting this need of the hour event. Needless to say, the world have seen the first of its kind pandemic. Of course, pandemics is not something new to the world. Probably none of us would have seen in the past. But to the total human race, this pandemic is the most challenging one. And in earlier days, there were issues, there were problems, but back then and now, we all agree we never had a technology of what we have today. Even then, COVID has shown us what human are capable of, and then versus all other things are capable of, right? Now, I'm not only talking about virus. When we talk about COVID, COVID meant a lot to different people. It affected everyone's life in a very, very different way. Now, given all the background, if we practically understand, COVID and this pandemic has taught us a lot of lessons, but I would want to just summarize the whole lessons into one easy understanding is, innovation. If as human, what we are good at is innovating and renewing ourselves, right? And if we don't really use our strengths ahead of everything, we won't be able to survive and sustain, right? So today, in fact, it was so funny. Probably in till 2019, probably by the time we all have born, and till 2019 end December also, if somebody would have said, You cannot go to cinema theater as normally, or you cannot go and play a cricket game in your ground with your buddies, and you cannot hug each other, right? I'm sure, like me, all of you would have laughed, right? If somebody would have talked about virus, this, that, like none of us would have even listened to them. We would have made a great fun out of them. But in fact, like when even the March April period started in 2020, we all were, I mean, most of us have not even realized, like we were thinking, I mean, this will be for a short period, right? Then lockdown 1, 2, 3, and it's keep going. Over a period of time, like we all started talking about post COVID era. I mean, we are I don't know whether we are in post COVID era or not, but we started talking about post COVID era. We started talking about going to movie theater. We are talking about occupying 50% or 100% of seats inside theater, like, which is so funny for us, right? And I mean, I'm just talking about theater because that is something like all of us can easily connect to each other, right? And again, going to school, college opens, and then schools will not open. There is a problem about kids. I mean, so if one thing that was taught by COVID to all of us was, like, we human, unless we bring innovation to the forefront of whatever we do in anything and everything, sustaining and survival itself is going to be a big challenge tomorrow, right? I mean, today you look at, I used to do a similar program, a similar kind of workshop in a physical mode 2 years before in many university campuses. I mean, we used to have a lot of activities as part of the patent workshop, etc. But we are not doing it. At the same time, whatever I want to cover, and again, anybody want to talk about live webinar, etc. Today, that has become a norm. It is no more. I mean, like, if somebody 2 years before, if somebody says there is a online webinar, probably, like, I don't know how many of us will even show interest towards it, right? Today, everything happens online. Convocations are happening online. I mean, imagine grocery purchases happening online, right? And if we are trying to understand, like, how our life was in 2019, and then 2020 and 2021, and today, we feel blessed, right? We feel like, okay, we are back to normal life. How? I mean, have we really gone back to 2018 or 19? It's not, right? But what happened in these last 2 years? Not many of us would not know. We think about it, just Zoom, it is just Microsoft Teams and so on, but not. Believe me, at least, like, I come from a company which is world's number one or the world's largest service provider. We serve majority of the world's major MNCs, and not only our company, and then all the players in the market. We have, the last 2 years was the real time for us to renew our innovation, right? And that's how the innovation plays a very, very important role. And then when you talk about innovation, what jointly comes and shakes hand is a patent. Of course, there are a lot of intellectual property. Innovation is not only about patent, but I thought of, like, today talking to, so today, like, I looked at the overwhelming response. I mean, we targeted for certain number of participants, but the response was so amazing. And then I looked at the total registration, and I can understand majority of them are students, post both UG and PG, and the combination of a good amount of mostly young and mid professionals. So I'm going to tune my talk a little bit towards the crowd, right? So let's get started. Abhi, I am unable to share my screen. Can you enable the host or presenter privilege to me?
Yes, sir.
So can you check now, sir?
Yeah. Yes, it's good now. So hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so my full screen is visible, right? It is not disturbed by the speaker note or something.
No, sir. Everything is clear for us.
Okay. Thanks, Abhi. So today, I mean, again, this event is a part of an initiative that we are driving along with Researchers Academy. So this initiative is called India Patent Initiative. I'll talk about what is IPI, India Patent Initiative, and what we are doing. Like I'll talk about some of the partnering institutions and what we have done in the past if we have enough time. Now, so I thought of splitting my talk into broadly 3 sections. Majorly, we'll focus on the 3rd section, but just to have a structure to the program. Of course, the registrants are mostly from India. Plus, there are few foreign registrations. So, I am going to talk about general interesting facts about patents, right? I mean, it's good to understand what was we before, then we will think about how we should really progress from now on, right? So we'll talk about some patent fact. Then I'll give you a quick glimpse on intellectual property in general. I won't spend much time there. We'll just look at what are all the different type of intellectual properties exist and why patents are important. We'll just touch upon the topic, and then we'll quickly move on to understanding the technical aspect of patenting, right? Probably I'll try to touch upon the process bit, but we won't spend more time on it. I'll try to quickly take you through the process, and of course, if you are interested, probably you can contribute. You can be part of the India Patent Initiative. I'll tell you what it is. If you want to keep in touch with many experts from Researchers Academy and MYRA, you can collaborate at later point of time. So let's get started. Okay, so this is one of my favorite picture, right? I'll just zoom it for everybody's eyes. So this is the statistics that was published in 2016. Of course, the data they use is till 2015. So from UNESCO, right? This talks about the number of researchers exist in each of the countries or continents. So as per this, the statistic says Japan seems to be in a great league, right? So Japan is having more than 5,200 researchers per million, meaning for every 10 lakh citizens, Japan has 5,200 plus researchers, and the other numbers, right? Comparatively, China has 1,200 plus per 10 lakh citizens, right? Now, what is missing is, of course, as I said, the majority crowd, we are Indian, so we want to look at India number, correct? So here is a question. And again, see, to all the participants, we are going to have a long session. So I know I'll try to keep the discussion for around 2 hours, or I'll try to reduce if possible. Then the remaining time we'll keep it for discussion. And this 2 hours, if it is not going to be interactive, if you're not going to really participate, even you will get bored and I'll get bored, right? So we'll lose our energy. So I'll keep it possibly a bit of interactive. So whenever I ask, the better way, because we have many people on the Zoom live plus YouTube stream. You can actually post your answers in your chat window, the respective chat window, be it in YouTube or be it in Zoom. I'll just look at both and then I'll take the answers, right? So the first question for all of you, what do you think would be the number in this chart where India would stand? What would be the number of researchers that you can think of per 1 million? Of course, it's a little old data, but you will be able to little assume based on the other countries' number that has been given. What would be your prediction where India would stand? Please post your answers on the chat window. Yeah, so don't hesitate. You can just start posting. Okay, so Anil mentioned, so India might position between US and Europe. So I think like you are referring somewhere around 4,000 or something. I mean, maybe 3,800 or above. For every 10 lakh people, every 10 lakh citizens, Anil Narasimham is expecting like India might have around 3,800 or more. Any other prediction? So Negha answered India would position between 2,000 to 3,000. Excellent. Okay, Lakshman mentioned between Japan and US, maybe like 4,400 or so, correct? Okay, I think it's time for us to look at the real number. Yes, so here we are. It is 216. It's little unfortunate, but that's a reality, right? When it comes to the on record researchers, right? When we talk about research, it is not only the patent record, it includes everything, like the research papers that we publish, any form of other intellectual property, copyrights you publish, and so on, right? But little sadly, India has 216 per million per 10 lakh citizen. Of course, you can understand if you look at the actual number of maybe number of patents and number of research papers published, India and China may have a good number. The overall number may compete with other countries, but if you look at the crowd, if you look at the density of the top people, that's where our number is low. So let's further go. I mean, of course, this is a little disappointing number, I understand, but let us go further and try to understand some more numbers. So here is a question also. What would be the country that would stand number one among the list? What would be the country that would stand number one? Right? Of course, I have shown the answer already. Like it's not Japan. There is one more country that has the higher number. So that has like 7,100 researchers for every 10 lakh citizens. So what would be that country? Any prediction? Which country might have more number of researchers than Japan? Of course, European Union has come in, China has come in, US has come in. Yeah. So Subrita said South Korea. Ruman said Korea. Excellent. Amazing. Right. So the right answer is South Korea. Right. So South Korea has 7,100, leads the list in a major number, right? Okay. Here are some more numbers for your eyes, just for high level understanding, right? So this is the next year number. So the last number that I have shown, that was the 2016 statistics. This is 2017 statistic. If you look at this, this is the number of times the countries filing patents. Again, in this list, Japan files as much of the resident application. It files as much of 2,000 filings, right? Whereas in India, the Indian residents filing patent applications on a comparative stat, it is very, very less. Now, this is another interesting stat. So this talks about overseas filing, meaning you being a citizen, how many number of people files in other countries. For example, Indian filing in other than India. It can vary, like India, US, Europe, Australia or UK, China, etc. Right? In this pack, it is a US that leads. I mean, US citizens they file more number of patents within US. At the same time, they file a huge number of applications even outside, meaning depending upon the number of countries or the number of regions you file your application, in those regions, your patent will be protected, your idea will be protected. If you don't file it, let's say, for example, I'm an Indian, I'm designing a product and I'm filing it only in India, then if somebody from US, if they look at it and if they like the product, if they want to reproduce the same product as it is in US, they can actually officially reproduce and they can sell it in the US market. You cannot actually file any legal case on them because you have not protected your product in US. Now, they cannot sell the US product in Indian market. So that is a clause, but otherwise to sell that product either in US or any other region except India, they are able, they are legally obliged to do it. You cannot claim it. So it is very important whenever an inventor invents something, it's better to understand the business scope, the region scope, and then plan for multi-region patent filing. That's where typically, if you look at US companies file more number of patents even outside US. Okay, here is the next question to all of you. Now, this is the total number of patent application plus grants. Okay. Once again, I'm just posting this question. When it comes to the total number of application, I'm sure at least India, it may have less number of researchers and inventors, but certainly the total number should be bigger, right? What would be the number where India would stand? Any expectation where India would stand up? What would be the number? For example, China's total number of filing is more than like 13 lakhs and the grant is 4 lakhs. Great conversion number, right? US is 6 lakh and the grant is 3 lakhs plus and others. So what would be where India would stand? What would be your assumption? Okay, let's see the answer. Yes, of course, even the number of patent applications by our citizens are considerably disappointing. We are not even in a lakh. We are like, 1/3 of the second number in the picture. So see, I mean, these statistics for us to understand. So I'll tell you why are we even discussing all these numbers, right? I'll tell you the intention at later point of time. It's just for us to understand where we stand today. Now, if you look at, the patents filed in India by different companies, these are the highest number, right? And this number is 2018 and 19. We are progressing from 16 towards 19 now, right? Now, Qualcomm, of course, the popular chip manufacturers today, like, if we all have super fast mobiles and our games are running nicely, Qualcomm is one important company which we cannot forget, right? So Qualcomm, Samsung, Huawei. So these companies have filed maximum number of patents in India comparatively. Of course, if you look at the whole list, the top 5 are foreign countries. So what about Indian companies' contribution in Indian filing? Let's look at that. Right. So these are all the top Indian entities, those who have filed patents in India between 2018 and 19. Right. So all IITs combined, it's around 600, and Chandigarh University alone 300 plus. Great number. From a software industry, TCS contributed a lot, more than 200 patents, and so on. So, what do we understand by looking at all these numbers? Right? Okay. Let's also look at some more statistics, and then let us come to some conclusion. Now, after your direct report, I wanted to show you another an important report. I'm not sure how many of you know MPI, Martin Prosperity Institute. MPI is quite popular for world level analysis, and their creativity index reports are very, very popular. So unfortunately, the latest report that they have produced was in 2015. So let us look at what was the status of both India, plus we'll also look at other countries where different countries are positioned in the global creativity index report. Right. So these are the top 10 ranking that was given by MPI, the top 10 countries to have maximum global creativity index. Of course, on an overall, Australia leads the pack. Of course, Australia and New Zealand, they are joined one another, and then they are in the top 3. United States number 2. Of course, like we all look at where India would be here, right? Unfortunately, the one and only APEC country in the top 10 list is Singapore, our neighboring country. We are happy about it. Then I was actually trying to browse through and look at where India is positioned. So while I was going down, India was positioned at 99th rank, which is not very bad. We are top 100. We can call it that way. But is it our real potential? Why do we really lack? Can we do something more? That's a larger question that cannot be answered just by some people, either you and me, but it should be answered, or the responsibility should be taken by everybody, including you and me, right? So if we go further, if you try to understand like what are the important aspects of that index itself, then I'll show you some interesting statistics on what basis, on what measure the index was finalized. Now, in the chart, the more darker the more darker color code you see, those countries are having higher creativity index, right? So this is a world map, right? So India is in a not very dark, at the same time not very dull, but it's a medium color. Now, this is a interesting picture to talk about the spread of patents in these regions, right? The number of patents that is spread across these regions. The more darker you see, those countries have maximum number of patents, right? So see, when we talk about India, we all know about our ancestors, the kind of yogis that India had, right? India is a sacred country, and then consider any science, mathematics, or any subject for that matter, we had great yogis, sages in India who taught many things, be it culture, be it calculations, be it zero for that matter, right? So when we come with such a greater background, but why we don't have that much number of patents filed? I mean, are we really lacking our creative thinking? Probably I would say it's not the lack of creativity in all these countries who are considerably lighter. It is all about showcasing your creativity to the external world in a formal way, right? Now, this is the talent index, right? What do you mean by talent index? In your total number of citizens, how many people are employable? How many people are educated? How many people are employable? We talk about like India being number 1, number 2 when it comes to the number of citizens, etc. It is not about, of course, having a good number of citizen count is very important. At the same time, it is all about per capita, right? It's all about the density of talent that we have. So once again, probably like this is quite understandable. We know, right? Though we have so many citizens, so many variety of talents that India has, but again, India is majorly made up of villages even today, but not many facilities, including good education, has not reached to many part of the country. Finally, this is a very, very important chart that I want to really talk about, right? This is the outcome of MPI's research on creative class, meaning the past, whatever we have seen, those are about, you know, the number of patents, those are more of descriptive, right? Now, this is about predictive. What do you mean by predictive? Like, based on the data that has been collected all over the world, they projected what is the potential of those countries to grow tomorrow. Like, what are all the countries they have more potential to grow, because it is about like these countries to have that many number of researchers to make the country labeled it's top in creative class. And in this class, if you look at I mean, like India color is clearly visible, right? So we clearly lack in showcasing our creativity to the external world, right? So that's I mean, why do I want to talk about these statistics, and why do I want to really show you the global creativity index is just to make a very simple point that, you know, I don't want to bring in a negative discussion saying, oh, you see, India is bad, I mean, we don't have good number. No, it's not about that, right? At the same time, it's very important as an Indian, as a citizen, it is better like I understand where my country stands, right? So that we will actually at least think through what we should do. Like, you tell me, what is the reason that India was behind on almost all the charts that we have seen? What is the reason? Who is the reason, right? See, we can start is nicely doing a blame game. We can talk about government, we can talk about institutions, we can talk about R&D facilities, etc. At the same time, you know, India has, even when it comes to innovation, India has actually shown to the world. For example, even in COVID, India has shown its you know, the creativity and innovation in fast manufacturing of Covaxin, right? And then going beyond, and then, you know, supplying to the most of the world, especially the underprivileged nations, right? So India has become a look forward elder brother to many countries. So India clearly has a talent, and India will actually show, I mean, all Indians, we will show when the time is right, when we are in an emergency, when we need to be united, we will get united. But the natural way of competing, like without competition, competing, being friend, being ahead of the market, leading the group, that's the kind of a character we often lose. I mean, we don't really be serious about that, right? No, instead of blame game, if you practically look at, majority of these numbers are based on citizens, right? Now it clearly says for the behind number, more than anybody else, you and me are actually responsible. We need to pitch in, we need to come in. Like, you know, you can be in any field. You can say, you know, Madhan, I am studying MBA, how can I do patent? No, innovation and doing patents and showcasing your research skill is irrespective of the domain you belong. In every domain there can be improvement. In every domain there can be something new that can be created. You can invent a process, you can invent a better efficiency, you can you can increase the performance, you can save cost, you can do many things, right? It is not the domain, it is not the it's not anything, it is everything, right? Your work may be something, but, you know, for your daily life you can actually improve. To improve it, you can actually build something innovationally, right? So I just want to call out, see this is where India stands. And then let's worry about blame game at later point of time. At least let us focus on what is something that as a citizen or as a human being I can contribute. Maybe, like, you know, however you want to take, like, if you want to contribute to the world, take it that way. Or if you are saying, like, you know, I want to contribute to my country, be an Indian and contribute. If you say, no, I want to make how Karnataka stands. For example, in the last 2 years, Niti Aayog, you know, the research ranking of states, for the last 2 consecutive years, it is Karnataka tops the list. I'm so happy belonging to the state. Of course, even people from other state, I don't remember the exact ranking list, but I can share it with you sometime, or you can explore the ranking list. Now, again, it is very important, like, every state, if you are from Kerala, if you are from Tamil Nadu, if you are from Andhra Pradesh, right? You can actually compete. The moment I said Karnataka is topping the Niti Aayog research index, right? You should immediately think, okay, let me do something. I will make Kerala being number one. I will make Tamil Nadu being number one, or I'll make Telangana being number one, right? So it is all in our hand. So with that, let's understand. So we talked about the researchers, the creativity index. So broadly, most of us know two intellectual properties, which is research papers or white papers, and then patents, right? Apart from that, what other intellectual properties are there? At least just let us look at them. As I said, I don't want to spend time on it. Probably, like, I just want to show it to your eyes, and then we'll move on. So there are patents. You can also think about copyrights. There are trade secrets, GI indication, trademarks and service marks, plant varieties you can patent it, and industrial design patents you can think of. Right? Probably, like, quickly to summarize majority of the patenting stuff. So I have brought a simple and easy example, Coca-Cola. Let's look at Coca-Cola as an example and understand what are all the different intellectual properties that we can think of. Now, in Coca-Cola cans, you would have seen this ring pull, right? This ring pull is a technique, right? So this is a patent. The ring pull can, the pulling mechanism has been filed as a patent and it's been granted. Now, anything of this sort, anything you can, I'll talk about patent and patent subject matter, etc. We'll understand more about patents. And trade, this is a trade secret, right? What is trade secret? For example, the Coca-Cola drink, people say there are few things that are unhackable so far. Coca-Cola's the same taste. Of course, there are a lot of duplicate coming, but so far, at least on record, we don't know at the black market or whatever, at least on record, Coca-Cola's recipe, the formula, has not been cracked by anybody. Like nobody have produced the same output as it is till now, right? So that is what the trade secret. So trade secret is something you can actually file, and then you need not to reveal your secret to the external world. Copyright, whatever the content and the image that you see on the Coca-Cola's bottle, on the cap, and the plastic cover, etc. So those, or the content and the images that they draw, can be copyrighted. The bottle designs in Coca-Cola case, right? That the tin designs, etc. Can be design patented. Finally, trademark. Trademark, like, for example, the logo, the way the Coca-Cola has been written, or the way the Infosys has been written, the way HCL has been written, right? So those are the logos or the brand, we call it as trademark. Okay, now I just want to talk about some interesting symbols. Like, if you are aspire to do your patent, if you are aspire to understand, like, whenever you do patent, what kind of symbols that are associated, towards your ideas, patent, etc. And while I'll explain it, probably, like, we can also have a kind of an interaction, right? So can you tell me, in the intellectual property, what this symbol might refer to? Maybe you can answer in the chat window. What might be this symbol in the patenting world, in intellectual property world, IP world? It's quite easy, right? It's copyright, correct? Correct, Anil. It's copyright, right? So what is this symbol?
Trademark.
Okay. Yeah, the TM refer to unregistered trademark. TM with a circle, wherever you see, it's a trademark, but it is unregistered. SM without circle, this is unregistered service mark. I'm sure you would have seen capital R in many places, right?
Registered.
Yes, this is registered trademark. Okay, while we have so many symbols here, if you ask me, which should be the most prominent among all? I mean, this is a subjective topic, but I'm going to talk about what is prominent to me, right? So I would, at least as an inventor, like to me, always this symbol is very prominent, right? So this is a patent filing moment. So now, in the whole patenting journey, right, in an intellectual property journey, what would be the most excitement moment? As an inventor, to me, the most excitement moment in a patenting journey was whenever the patent get filed, whenever the patent, like, you prepare everything, you complete your invention, make a documentation, get it reviewed by technical people, and then the legal attorney do the process, get it filed. That filing moment will give you a huge relaxation. So that is the most excitement moment in your whole journey. Probably, like, everybody. I mean, I remember my first patent. Like, we all have, like, 3-4 people. We all have worked for almost for the product. We worked for 2.5 years. Of course, long time. But the patent process we worked almost 9-10 months. But later, the overall patenting process has reduced to 3-4 months in the beginning. Now, after the invention, for us, the patenting process takes between 1 to 2 months. So that's an average timeline that we do. So the moment you complete the filing, like, you feel like excited. So after excitement, what would be the moment, right? So when, as an inventor, you feel peace, when you really enjoy the wisdom, when you feel like so relaxed. So that moment is the moment you get your patent granted. So these two are my first Australian and US granted patents. Of course, so today I have total of 76 patents filed and then 28 patents granted. Any number of patents can be granted in the future as well, but these two patents are the most memorable ones for me. So I just thought of showing it. Also, I want to call out people on this call. I expect, towards the end of the session, you would have learned a bit about patents. I want to pass on a dream or a responsibility to each one of you who are on the call or who are listening this on YouTube's live. Please at least try to get into this journey, right? Let it take its own time. Don't worry about it. At least start your journey. Taste what is that patenting world is all about. Just taste it once. Put all your hard work and then try to see, try to take that enjoyable journey. And I'm sure by the moment you file and then by God's grace, when you get your patent granted, I'm sure that feeling you won't be able to describe to anybody else. So I want each one of you on the call to take this dream from me, take the responsibility from me. And then I'm asking this for like, 3 reasons. The first aspect is to for yourself, right? I mean, for you to, as a co-inventor, I want you to really enjoy, feel what that journey looks like, right? I want you to enjoy. The second reason is we looked at where our country stands. Even you may be from any country, you may not be from India, right? You may be from Australia, you may be from Germany, it's still fine, right? You need to contribute to your country. Every citizens have responsibility to contribute to our country. So the second reason why I'm passing on this dream is to achieve the number, to achieve the superiority for your country in the global stage. The third reason is probably like that maybe for me a little selfishness. So I want to feel good that okay, I have enabled somebody to take up the patenting journey, and then they are at least trying something, right? So please try if at all that is possible. Right. So here we are, the most important part of our session. So let us get in and then see. I mean, as I said, I'll spend some time on process, but I'm not going to spend a good amount of time because more than process, like, you know, there are other things which I want to really talk about. Process, I'm sure you can get it from anybody. Again, in the process section, what I have brought here is, you know, I have not brought the repetitive legal process or a generic process. So I want to talk about very specific things, even those processes from a technical standpoint, rather than a high level process. I'm going to talk about the granularity of things, right? Probably like as an individual, whenever I go for filing a patent, what are the specific steps that we do, that exact things I'm going to talk about. I think that is what will be more valuable, because that is something you won't be able to hear from many people, right? Let's move on. Let's try to understand patentability. I mean, the whole the technical things about patents in general, and innovation will be covered as part of it. So, I mean, just the basic stuff, right? I'm sure all of you know what is patent, but just the benefit of others. See, any patent is not granted by a private party. Okay, patents are registered and patent are granted by government institutions, right? It is as same like, let's say you're buying a car, or you're buying your two-wheeler, or you're buying your house. What are these? These are physical properties, correct? These are all PP. Now you will have whatever the process, right? You need to register your house in the government. There is a process for it. There is a pro forma for it. There is a legal document you need to prepare, get attested, do all that, right? For car, you do the same thing, maybe in a different office. Similarly, every government has a patent office, right? You need to, if you are planning to file a patent, as the name says, physical property, PP, intellectual property, IP, that's all. Patent is an intellectual property. Otherwise, this is a property. You need to register it with the respective government. Or if you want to file your patent beyond your base country, you need to go and file it in the other country. That's all. But you need to get it filed, right? Now, let's say you file for a patent and the patent got granted. Now, what and all you can do with the patent? Like what and all you can do with your house, or what and all you can do with your two-wheeler or four-wheeler. See, your car, you can give it for rental, right? Or you can make that as a taxi. You can be a driver and you can drive it, or you can give it to some car leasing company, and then they will take it and they will lease it on behalf of you, and they will pay you monthly or yearly or whatever. Or you can sell off, right? You can totally sell it off, right? So everything you can do with intellectual property also, right? You can make use of your patent and you can build products and then you can sell it. You can give it to some company for some honorarium or for some percentage of deal, and you can do that. Or you can permanently sell your patent to some other company for a price. Or you can do anything, right? Whatever you can do with a physical property, everything you do with the intellectual property also. But again, what is very, very important is, it is geographical bound, meaning, for example, if we register our car in Karnataka, if you're taking it to, let's say, Maharashtra, certainly you need to, your car need to bound to Maharashtra rules, right? The registration is in Karnataka. So similarly, if you are filing a patent in India, then the rights, the complete rights fall only in Indian region, right? In other regions, as I said in the beginning, it will not be applicable. If you want your idea to be protected, you need to file your patent rights in the foreign country. Right. So this is, I would imagine, in order to get into a patenting journey, a patenting, world, we need to understand what are all the mandatory properties of any patent. So I think, I need your attention. So the next 3-4 minutes are very important for you to understand. So this is something many people don't understand even in industry. In fact, so I am, along with my business portfolio, I also lead patents for a few verticals within my company. So whenever go and talk, we used to give a repetitive awareness session on this particular slide, which I'm going to talk now. Okay. People lack understanding. That's where, if you are clear with what I'm going to talk for next 2-3 minutes, at least you will be able to clearly define what can be patented and what cannot be patented, right? So I'm going to talk about those properties that is going to decide whether your innovation, whether your patent is patentable or not patentable. Okay. So I'm going to talk about 4 important properties, out of which 3 are technical and the 4th one is purely business relevant. Okay. 4th one I'll give a little lighter weight, whereas the other 3 I'll have a stronger weight. Now, again, these 3, the initial 3 properties are they are interconnected. They will have so much, relativeness to each other, but I'll try to give you the difference in a most easier manner, right? Now, the first property of the patentability is your patent, your innovation, your solution has to be technical, right? What I mean by that? See, you can take any problem. The problem can be technical or non-technical, doesn't matter. The problem can be anything. It can be a business problem, it can be a non-technical problem, it can be a technical problem, anything. It can be a pollution problem, it can be a better roadmap, a traffic resolution, or a computer security software, or anything, right? Anything can be a problem, but the solution has to be technical, right? Now, when you say technical, as an inventor, it's not about saying I have the solution. No. You should be able to define your solution in a technical manner, in a step-by-step manner. Your total solution, you should be able to say, okay, see, I am going to explain my solution in 30 steps. Right? Step 1, 2, 3 till 30th. If you are able, and in this 30 steps, your solution, it should have the technical aspect. I'll talk about this aspect in some time, one more time, right? It should be technical. Now, the second property of a patentability is it should be novel, meaning it should be new or unique, whatever. When you talk about novel, there are 2 novelty. That's why we need to understand. Local novelty and global novelty. Local uniqueness or global uniqueness. What is local uniqueness? Let's say, for example, you come and say, see, I am solving this problem and I have solved this problem. Now, my solution, my tool, whatever I have invented, my tool is very, very new in Karnataka. Right? Very, very new in Karnataka. In Karnataka, nobody have solved this problem the way I have solved. Now, can I ask for patent? No, you cannot. Okay. Okay. I have invented something. My solution is unique in India. Again, it is a local uniqueness for India. Now, somebody else have invented in Australia. Right? Now, you cannot file a patent in India and get that granted. So you can ask me a question. I only said in the beginning, let's say if I have a product and if I file a patent in India, I cannot, anybody can sell outside India, correct? But now I'm saying, if you are building a product and the product is unique in India, but it is already existing in other country, Australia, right? Now, you can sell other people patent that are filed in other country in your country. That is still possible, but you cannot patent it. to get a patent, it has to be globally unique. So that's a big challenge when it comes to patentability, right? Once again, it will come from the first point. It should be technical and it should be globally unique. That's very important. It should be new in some way. When I talk about uniqueness or novelty, for example, there can be a full product. Okay, let's talk about iPhone. See, iPhone has how many patents, right? Whenever they are releasing a new iPhone version, they will say the new iPhone version has 900 patents, 1,100 patents, 2,000 patents, right? The iPhone is a single product. Now, the point is, it's not necessary that your whole product has to be unique and new. No, not necessary. In the product, you can have that one aspect that is unique, and that aspect can be patentable. You get what I'm saying? But that one aspect has to be strong enough so that you are able to justify that technicality, and then you are getting it patented. I'll give you an example. Okay. Have you seen a vehicle that can travel in light speed? Have you seen a vehicle that can travel in light speed? Let's say, if I'm saying, see, I have designed a car that can travel with light speed, right? Now, is it a technical problem? Yes, it is a technical problem. Is it unique? Of course, it is very unique. So many people tried. They have not solved it. But I'm saying, yeah, I have designed a car. It can go in light speed. Now, because I'm claiming this, can I get patent granted? Obviously not. Why? That is where this 2 point comes in. Now, about uniqueness, I will be able to prove it is unique as an idea. But how I need to prove? It should be technical, right? Now, if we say, no, I have already designed the car. If I show my car, so this car can go in light speed. No, nobody will give patent. I need to show. I need to technically describe that, what I have changed in that engine, what changes, what technicality that I have brought in, that it is making a normal engine car to go in a light speed. So I need to define the technicality in a step-by-step manner. If I can able to define it in a step-by-step manner, then for those steps, the evaluators evaluate and then they will give grant. In these steps, I need to have the uniqueness defined. Here comes the third important property, right? As I said, your invention should be technical and it should have steps, the inventive steps. So these inventive steps should have these 2 properties. I said, right, you should be able to define your overall solution in number of steps. Let's say 1 to 30 steps. Now, in these 30 steps, if I am the examiner, if I am evaluating your steps, if not all the steps, but you should include a good number of the good recurrence of non-obviousness or unpredictability, right? It shouldn't be like, okay, he has written step 3, step 4, step 5. Okay, after step 5, step 6 is this only. I'm able to predict it, right? If all your steps are quite predictable, then that is also lacks the patentability quality. You have to bring in some surprises to the evaluator, technically, right? When I read step 6, when I look at step 7, it should be something, oh, wow, this is not an obvious step. Okay, he is doing something new. He's solving it in a different way, right? So this is a very important, another third important property, right? It should be technical, it should be novel, globally unique, and your technical steps should have the non-obviousness and unpredictable events occurring more than one time in your definition, right? Finally, business relevant, right? Of course, as I said, the first 3 are technical. The last one is business relevant, meaning this is mostly applicable for the organization. If you have a sponsor, they will decide whether, for example, let's say working in a software company, if I go and say like, I have invented a new cigarette. Okay, so they may not appreciate it unless they have a plan or they have a different business that will manufacture cigarette and sell. Just an example, of course, a bad example, but working in a gas station, if I go and say, I have changed the design of the tube of the car, right? So my industry is different. So if you are building an innovation, a solution for a business, then the fourth property will come into picture. Otherwise, you need not to worry about the business element. Of course, let's say, for example, if I am an individual, right? If I need to build some tool, obviously I need to put some money. I need to do investment, my time, knowledge, bring some people, etc. Right? Even as an individual person, the business element will come. Like, if I do this investment, will I be able to make a product out of it? Will I be able to sell it to the target customer? So business element will come in every place. But the important three technical aspects are: it should be technical, globally unique, and your steps should have the non-obviousness and unpredictability. Right? Now, so here are the process steps. Let me take you through. So the process steps starts with assuming that your innovation, your product is ready on hand, right? I'm not going to tell you how to invent. That is not possible, right? Innovation is all about problem solving, right? You decide a right problem and do your study, prepare properly, then you solve it. Now, I'm going to explain you about the patenting process, imagining your ideation and development of your product is already done. Your product is ready and you are getting into a patenting process. Now, whenever you start your patenting journey, you need to remember this keyword, PAS. P-A-S. Prior art search. Prior art search. Okay. You will do prior art search in two places. This is the first level, level 1 prior art search. What do you do in prior art? Simple. You need to go to Google or any popular search engine that you prefer. You have to draft your ideation and your total product into a neat documentation. There are a lot of patent templates are available online. You can download them and follow that structure, and then write as many number of pages, bring in as many number of image representation, etc. Prepare a documentation. Okay. Now, from your documentation, take an important keywords. Those keywords will define your product. Those keywords that will define your product a little bit technically. Okay, take those keywords and start searching those keywords online in Google or Yahoo or Bing or any other popular search engine. You need to do a comparative analysis to understand, like, whatever you have solved, is there any other competitor or is there any other solution provider who have a similar product existing in the market, right? Or is there any other tool that has a similar technology that you have used? So try to do your own research to understand whether your product is really unique or somebody else have already built something like that, right? Do your level 1 prior art search, assuming you have validated all your searches and you understood what are all the changes that you need to be made in your product, going back to your product and you make your changes. Once if your prior art 1 is successful, when I say successful, I assume that you searched for it and you have you clearly got out that, okay, your product is still unique. Nobody has invented something like that so far in the world, right? Now, then this is what the process we do in a typical industry, right? So if you are an individual person, many of these steps may not be applicable to you. Of course, there are two ways. One is, if you are belonging to a particular college or an R&D center or a company, I'm sure they will have an IP department or IP cell or something like that, right? Or IP council. You can reach out to them and the process will be same. Or if you're an individual, you can again take two steps, two paths, right? Either you can follow the structure on the process I'm explaining, which is little hard for you to independently do it. The second path is you can actually reach out to some of the patent consultants or patent agencies that are available in major cities, in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai. There are a lot of patenting companies. They do a great job, right? You can, of course, they'll charge you a bit, but when you go to them, they will also do the similar process. So the process will help you to understand the patenting journey in a more easier manner. Now, okay, reach out, like, once if your prior art search is completed, successful, PAS 1 is done, then you need to complete your draft by using the template. Probably it's a good practice, always get it internally reviewed with a limited number of people. Don't reveal it to more outsiders. Get it reviewed by your local team. Then there will be an IDF, innovation disclosure form, right? If you say that, okay, I'm an individual person, I want to do it by myself, search for IDF or innovation disclosure form online. You'll be able to see that form. Try to fill that form along with your draft and keep it ready, right? In a company setup or in an institutional setup, there will be IP cell. They will give you a innovation disclosure form. Fill it out, give it to them. Based on the content that you provide in the invention disclosure form, the attorney will come into picture. The patent attorney will come into picture. They will have discussion with the inventors. Post that, they will do evaluation. They will ask question. They will send you for improvement, right? After you complete your improvement, come back with everything final. Submit your draft with along with IDF. Let's assume that your evaluation with local patent attorney is successful. Then, the moment the first level evaluation is over, prior art level 2 will start. Prior art search level 2 will start. So here what they'll do is, mostly in companies or institutions, what they'll do is, they will have either a third-party company or else they will have their internal tools to perform the same prior art search for your drafted content along with the deep web content. They'll go to the deep web, look at all the content that are available, all the government databases, all the company databases. They'll try to find out, is there anything similar existing like what you are trying to invent? Once, imagine your level 2 prior art search is also successful, then they will bring in the drafting council. So drafting council usually will be a third-party company who are usually a legal and auditing people. They will come, they will try to understand all your problem. They will take your draft that you have prepared. They will try to talk to you. They will take all the downloads of your invention to their head. Then they will actually give you a estimate for preparing the draft 2, the second draft, which will be used for filing it in government office. Okay. Based on the agreed timeline, the external counsel will complete the drafting. They will give it to you back. Once if you receive the draft as an inventor, you need to, once again, like how the drafting council has taken download from your idea and they started drafting it by themselves. Now they will give it to you. You can go through it line by line, word by word, letter by letter. You need to completely own it. If you wanted them to make some changes, if you feel that they did not understand what exactly you wanted them to do, you can actually go to them. You can give your feedback. They will rewrite it. They will give it back. You can do multiple rounds of, going and coming. But at the end, by the time you are going to give sign off, you will completely own the responsibility. Draft. You cannot say, no, drafting council has written, I have not noticed it at later point of time. You have to own the complete responsibility. Once if you are okay, give a sign off. Once if you sign off, your company will do a patent filing. Again, if you don't have a company to do a patent filing, if you are an individual or if you are a college, once if the sign off happens, then officially any entity can go and do a patent filing. Once if the patent is filed, there is a time for preliminary evaluation. The specific government or office, let's say Indian Patent Office or US Patent and Trademark Office, they will allocate some preliminary examiners. They will examine it, and then post examination they will publish it. They'll publish it online in their portal, and some third party intermediary, they will also take the online published patents and then they will publish it in their portal. So technically, once the preliminary examination is over, your patent content will be available in multiple sources in internet. So this publication is primarily for public objection, not for anything else. When it is published, that doesn't mean that your patent has been granted. Publishing is just a general process, which is just one of the steps, no greater milestone. Mostly all the submitted application, after certain time, it has to be published for public objection, right? So if imagine nobody is objecting your application, then after a certain period of time, the patent office, the respective government patent office, they will allocate a technical examiner who will do a substantive examination. Post that, they will say, once if you they will reach out to you, they will ask you some questions, they will ask your justification. Let's imagine, like, you are giving all the answers and the justifications are, justifiable to the patent office. Initially, they will change your patent to allowance. If they are saying your patent is allowed, that means it is ready to be granted once if you pay the patenting grant fee. If the moment you make the grant fee, they will make your patent officially granted. And in a US case, you will get a granted certificate like this. Right. So this is the overall patenting process. Once again, I'll just show it to your eyes before we move on to the next step. So what you are seeing on the screen is the complete technical patenting process. I'm sure you may not be able to see each and every step online in any other material, because unless somebody file patents themselves, others wouldn't be able to tell you these steps such granularly. So, okay. Okay. So I want to talk about something called patent subject matter. PSM, we say in short. What is patent subject matter? So it is better to understand, at least, not specifically, at least at high level, what are the things that are patentable, right? See, you can design a simple tool which can do something. For example, we talk about the drink pull can open, right? Any tool, small tool, you can think about a scissor, a new method of a scissor, right? You can come up with a new operation, or you can design something that can easy any one of our life activity, right? A simple tool which has some operation that can be patentable. A new composition or a new formula, a new chemical formula, that is patentable. Maybe a product, an engine or a machine, apparatus, that is patentable. Chemical synthesis. For example, you are producing a different chemical, a chemical A dash from A, that is patentable. Or you are producing altogether a different chemical from chemical A, you are producing a new chemical B, that is patentable. Or you are taking a chemical and then you are producing a hybrid chemical A star, that is also patentable. Technical methods, technical processes are patentable in some countries. Man-made microorganisms are patentable. Biotechnology process is patentable. So in all this, the keyword that you need to insert everywhere is new. A new simple tool, a new composition, new formula. Anything new that fall under any of the category is patentable. Right? So here are few things that are patentable in US but not in India, some special cases. See, if you are automating a business process and if you are able to explain that business process technically, describe it in a technical manner, you can file a patent on the business process in US but not in India. Integrated circuit topography can be patented in US but not in India. Medical treatment procedure is patentable in US. Plants and animals, a different variety of plants or an animal with a new feature, it is patentable, officially patentable in US. Traditional knowledge, for example, your family is running a family kitchen chain, or you are manufacturing corn in a certain different way. You are using some different chemical composition. So that traditional knowledge, your family business knowledge, is patentable. a method of agriculture is patentable in US. Atomic energy, anything related to, bombs, atomic, all that is patentable in US, but it's not allowed other than government to perform atomic experimentation in many countries like India. No. When we are talking about patent and we have learned the process, we also know what can be patentable and what cannot be patentable, etc. I thought of talking some best practices, at least the best practices that I follow, the best practices that, me and my team, we have invented or we have realized over our experience, right? So these best practices are not from any book or any online material, nothing. So these are all something that came to my mind. I thought of sharing it with all of you. When you are getting into your patent journey, if you feel like taking any of these best practices, I'm sure it will be very, very useful for you. The first rule or the best practice, please understand every patent, every intellectual property is a future big wealth. Okay, meaning you can, for example, imagine when Ola company, our Ola taxi, right? When they have, imagine what was it, right? Collect all the car information in the city, connect Google Map, make sure, you are tracking those cars available. If somebody is booking in the nearby area, whichever the car that is available in 1 or 2, 3 kilometers, send a signal. If the driver is accepting, allocate the trip to them and they'll come and pick up and they will drop and the money will be given to either driver or paid in app. Technically a simple idea. Who would have thought Ola will become a multi-million-dollar company? Similarly, Food Panda, Swiggy, Zomato, right? Who would have thought a small app would be a multi-million or billion-dollar business? Look at Paytm, right? Last year, recently, Paytm IPO happened and we have all seen the kind of craze began IPO. Of course, we will talk about plus minus about, but imagine the amount, the number of times it was subscribed, right? A promising business, but who will, like, when they were developing, would they even ever thought about making $1 billion business out of it? So it's all starts from a small idea, right? So similarly, not only this, if you think about any industry for the minute, like imagine by the time somebody would be creating a car or aeroplane, they would have done it for a different purpose. They would have done it for their thrill. They would have done it for helping somebody. They want to really travel from one place to another place. But over a period of time, you look at how big the business is. Also, I've been interacting with multiple university students on various stuffs or interns. They come to Accenture, etc. Many people complain to me that, Madhan, this company which is very popular in Indian market today, this was my idea. I thought 5 years before, but unfortunately, I have never executed it. I have never protected it, right? So that is what the scenario. Probably even you would have thought about some idea 2-3 years before, but now you might be seeing one company that already they will do this exactly same of your idea, and they'll make crores and crores out of it, right? So now what is a easy understanding? A simple understanding is every idea is very important, right? And every patent is going to protect your idea. And again, every patent is a future big wealth. You can create 10 crore out of your idea. You can create 100 crore out of it. You can create multi-million, multi-billion out of it, right? It's all the way how you are going to execute it properly. Now, understand that is the importance of every single patent. So whenever you are planning, whenever you are filing an IP, please invest a little bit in the beginning. Why I'm saying this is, I have seen like many inventors, when they start their patent journey or in many educational institutions that I have experienced. So what they'll do is, when they try to file a patent, because of non-support from their institution, they will have a great idea. okay, they will be forced to draft everything by themselves, doing everything. See, innovation, coming of the product is different. Post that, the process, you need other parties to come in, the experts to come in. It is something like if you want to register your car, okay, you may want to do everything by yourself to save costs, but you need to go to government and you need to fill the pro forma in the same way. To register your house, who will write that registration document? Will you be able to do it? If you are of that profession, you will be able to. Otherwise, you need to pay for it, right? Similarly, even in patenting world, there are different experts. So you need to identify the right experts, the right help, and wherever it is needed, you need to invest a little bit money there. Now, the second rule is, I have seen like many people, whenever they come up with an idea and then when they want to patent it, they will directly get that evaluated locally, meaning they'll reach out to their guide or they'll reach out to some senior people in the college or in their company. And then they will explain to them, and as long as the seniors within the department, they say it's good, then they will go and file a patent. You can file it. What is the chances of getting the filed patent granted? That is very important, right? Filing is not about just putting money, right? For example, corporates, company like ours, we spend between minimum of 30 to 40 lakhs for every single patent filing, around like 50 to 60 K US dollars, 50 to 60,000 US dollars, average, right? Sometimes more, sometimes little less. So 30 to 40 lakhs we invest to file every single patent. Now, which company is okay to let go of that 40 lakhs simply? If you are filing a patent, like it has to be granted, right? If you want your patent to be granted, then please involve some technical evaluator to evaluate it before you file it. Not everybody. I mean, and it's okay if you are going and talking to your internal department people, your HOD or whatever, it's good. I'm not saying like, the senior people in the college or senior people in your company, they will not have enough knowledge. No. They may or may not know about the patent world. They may or may not know how to technically evaluate the patentability quality of your patent, right? So take some technical evaluation from some externals help before you take your decision by your own. Now, collaboration is a key, right? We all know about it. It's okay. You do not load everything by yourself. While you are collaborating, again, you need to look for the right person. Let's imagine this scenario. Let's say you have built a product, a software product or a hardware product or a tool or whatever. Now, you drafted it as a document and you discuss with the technical evaluator, and then the technical evaluator says, see, everything is okay, but somewhere some 5% is missing. 95% you have got it, but I feel something is lacking in your product. Okay. Now, let's imagine like you are 2 people or 3 people, some team or individual person, whatever. There are 2 ways for you. Either, let's say it's your individual product that you have built, and your technically you have to say 95% is compatible, but still 5% I think it will get rejected. Now, what is the strategy? 2 strategies you have. Either you try to improve the document by yourself and then go ahead and file it with that lack. Right? The chances of getting rejection is higher. Though it is 5% or 2%, it will get rejected. The other strategy is you can look for somebody, okay, the next person who can really fill that 2% or 5% gap. Now, what happens is, in the first path, by non-collaboration, you would have lost the patent. You will still have a product, but you would have lost the patent. In the second case, by giving a partnership to others, you are making a win-win scenario. Your no patent has become patent now. Also, you should better know how to sell off your product with that new addition that the person has brought in. So it is always good when you think about collaboration, always look for the right parties who can make your patent happen. The person or the group, small group who can make a no patent to be a patent. That's very important. As we all know, one idea in one brain and another idea in another brain, when they merge together, it will become best idea. That is the power you should try to play around. Again, as I was saying in the first point, you need to invest a little bit, right? This is very specific to it. Better involve some professional attorneys, some professional writers to draft your application, at least in the beginning stage. As I said, like your house, registration document, even the IP documents are very technical in nature. If you want to understand what it is, better download some existing patents. You can just search, or even if you want a shortcut to download some patents, maybe towards the end, I will leave my LinkedIn profile. In my LinkedIn profile, you can go to my patent section. I have given a direct link to many of my patents. Download those patents, try to read through. See, I mean, the content on the patent will be on English, but when you read through, you need to at least read 2 to 3 times to understand every single paragraph. Even after that, it will be very hard for you to translate, because the language that the patent draft people uses is very, very different than a regular English. So, because we need to follow the pseudos, we need to follow the constraints, rules, whatever is necessary for the government offices to be getting our patent approved, right? So better initially at least engage, at least for your initial 3 patents, engage professional drafting experts, post which if you want to try by yourself, you can certainly try it. Even after close to 80 patents, even to me, patent, every single patent draft is looks like Greek, not even English. So I just want to call out, like, I said collaboration is a key. At the same time, you need to limit your inventors depending upon the contribution, right? Once again, like, patent is not your fruit or a pizza where you can just simply cut and share. I just want to call out, I said the relativity between IP and PP, right? The physical property and intellectual property. Now answer this question. Will you be able to see, if you have an apple, it's okay, you may cut it and you can share it with your colleague in office, or you may give it to your senior person in your company. But tell me this, will you be able to share your hard-earned car or your house to your neighbor? Will you write off of your house property to your neighbor simply? You will not, right? You will only give it to the right people, maybe to your family, or you may give it to the right people who have actually contributed. Similarly, this is also a property. You can monetize out of it. So while I said collaboration as a key, at the same time, make sure you are including the right contributors, not everybody simply. And this is another problem. In many cases, what happens is, like, we think if somebody gives you a great problem and they are part of innovation. No, problem can be given by anybody, right? But it's all about solution, right? Now, for example, I'll give you another two-wheeler example, right? Design a two-wheeler that can give 300 kilometer mileage, right? Imagine if somebody can introduce a two-wheeler that can give 300 kilometer for 1 liter petrol. The EV hype would have come down. People will not think about EV for another 20-25 years, right? Now, this can be a great problem, but who will solve it? Giving problem is different, but the technical solution is different. So inventors or invention is all about solution, not the problem. So this is also something you need to keep in mind when you are finalizing your inventors for the patent. On the last point, the best practice is, it's not all the developers in the product that they need to be part of your innovation list. Okay, I'll give you an example. let's say you and me, we are discussing and we are coming up with a new software tool. You and me, we both. Okay. And then we both are together coming out with all the module, all the description, all the technical details. Like we brought all the product ready. Now we need more people so that we can accelerate the product development. Right. So what we are doing is we are hiring 3 more people. 3 people, you and me plus 3. So totally we are a team of 5. Now, the first 2 people, they joined the project. We are paying salary to them. Okay. Now they are developing as it is, whatever we both developed as a module, they are actually recoding. They are coding it. They're developing as it is. That's an invention. They are developing as it is. Now, when we are going to file a patent for this product, do we need to include these developers as an inventor to the patent? Not necessarily. You can ignore them. Now, the last guy, the third guy, the 5th guy, what this person is doing, he or she, anybody, right? Let's say she. Now, this third girl, she is coming and discussing a lot with us. She's asking so many questions about our module. She's saying, why don't we add this? Why don't we introduce this new concept? So she is contributing a lot to improve the product to a different dimension. Now, when we are finalizing the people for patenting, the patent list, if we feel that we want to include the third girl, actually, if you want, you can include. The first 2 boys or first 2 people may not be eligible because they have merely developed whatever we have designed. So for patent, it is all about the idea. It's all about the technical invention. Whether you are developing or not is a secondary. Right? So I would call these 7 as the best practices, like usually what we follow whenever we go for filing a patent in our patenting world. So let's move on. Okay. I just thought of concluding our topic with an example. Right. So I4Sight. So this is my team's first patent. I just thought of giving some detailing around how our patenting journey started. It may be relevant, it may not be relevant because this is purely a software patent that we have done. But I'll give you a high-level overview so that some of you may connect it with your own domain and you may think to plan something out. So what was the problem? Right? The problem was cloud. Right? Cloud is very big. Right? It has huge amount of data. It has a lot of problem. Right? The problem that we have taken was forecasting, the billing forecasting. So we want to take the massive cloud data of one of the largest client for us. So what they asked was that they were spending like, every month multi-million dollars. They asked us, can you tell us what would be our next 3 months spend on cloud so that like we will plan our budgeting and capacity properly. See, usually the capacity forecasting is easy in a general scenario, but when it comes to cloud, there are 2 complications. One is for a typical machine learning algorithms, the cloud data itself is challenging because this is not a typical retail or supply chain or customer data. It is more of virtual machines, CPU, RAM kind of. So you need to really tune the algorithms a bit. And because it's cloud, the data is massive in number, right? The size. So what we did, how we solved it. So I can just tell you the solution quickly, but I'll tell you like how we have built out the solution and then how that has made it to a patent, the granted patent. So first what we did was we built a single high accuracy forecasting model. We took one client data, we built a high accuracy forecasting model. Then it was working very fine. Like we showed it to our client and client was super happy. Then what we thought of doing was like we thought of testing the same model with one more client. To our surprise, when we tried with a different client, our results were very strange. I mean, our accuracy was so less. I mean, we were not happy with the overall result. Then we were trying to analyze and we understood when we did some data analysis, the pre-processing data analysis, then we realized the kind of data, the nature of data of the first client and the second client are very, very different, because of which the first model was not actually fitting in. So what we did, we tuned and then we created a new forecasting model for the second client. Now, we tried it with the first client and a few other clients. Again, we faced the same problem. It was not fitting in correctly. That's when we realized, okay, if we really wanted to go in this way, like for every single client, we need to build a new tool. We don't want to do that. We want to summarize. We need to, like, standardize the problem, the solution. One tool work for all. But how one size will fit for all? We were trying to generalize the solution. So what we did was, we took a multi-model approach, a different multi-model. Usually multi-model means a lot, but I'll tell you how we took that approach. So we took, the best, market best 10 forecasting techniques. We directly took 10 forecasting techniques. Okay. We prepared it for the necessary cloud data, and then we made all the models ready, 10 models, and we put it into one box. Okay, meaning we have created an intelligent component. That component will call all these 10 model one by one, and whenever the call happens, these 10 models will come one by one and will get executed for the respective data, and it will give the result. You follow what I'm saying, right? One client data will fall onto this intelligent module. This intelligent module will call the first model, execute this data for this model, done. Then it will call the second model, execute, done. Third model, execute, done. Fourth model, and so on. So every single client data will be executed with 10 clients, so 10 models. Now, for these 10 model, we have got 10 model output, right? Now, which model to be chosen? We need a evaluation strategy. So what we did was, instead of taking one, usually in analytics world, they'll go with MAD, MAP, or any such one evaluation method, right? So we went with 3 methodology, 3 strategy. Okay, so technically what happens? one client data come in to the intelligent component, come here, this model executes, then the 3 evaluation strategy executes, 3 evaluation happens. So 3 cycle over. Now second model execution, and then 3 cycle of evaluation. Similarly, 10 model, 3 evaluation, 30 cycles for every single client data. Fine. Along with that, like we have also included like some auto missing value, multi-collinearity, and other the routine analytical model, the best practices, fitment, data correction, and all that. See, you would have understood, right? Like, and this is, we have made that as an engine, which will at the same time execute for multiple clients. So every single client, let's imagine one client data, let's say it has like some 20 million line item. Each 20 million line item will undergo 30 cycle before deciding the results, which algorithm to be chosen, right? So certainly we need a big data. So we brought in big data infrastructure, and then we built all the things on top of big data, this thing. Finally, this is how our overall engine looks like. So I just don't want to take more time explaining the technicality of it, but this is how, see, here are our algorithms, and here are our the evaluation strategy. As I said, MAD, MAP, RMSC, and then we got the final forecasted result, the correct one. So the correct forecasting method out of this 10 will be chosen by the automatic methodology, and then these methodologies are tuned based on the characteristics, the nature of the business that the client was doing, right? So this is what the first product that we have built out, and then we discussed with our attorney team, and they saw potential in it, and then we got into the patenting process. Like now, imagine, like, now the product is ready. Now you can think about the process, some like 15-18 steps process that I was explaining, right? We started with that process. It took us 9 months to complete our patenting filing, right? I mean, it was the first time for most of us, so we were learning, and it took more time. But finally, it was very hectic. The whole team struggled a lot, but finally the result was so fruitful. Over a period of time, like, all my team members, like, started doing 10 patents, 20 patents, 30 patents. We have all reached to a good number over a period of time. So the journey was so enjoyable, and we all have seen the benefits out of it. So yeah, it was good. So that's what the one use case I just thought of talking with all of you. So almost we are at the end of our session. Before I conclude, as I said, I'll just talk about this India Patent Initiative. So India Patent Initiative is a non-monetary initiative, primarily run by Researchers Academy. Me and some of my close associates, we founded Researchers Academy, and we run this Indian Patent Initiative. So Indian Patent Initiative is all about a theme, right? The theme revolves around this question. Now, once again, we'll go back to our question and session. I'll keep the chat window open. Tell me this: are you happy when I've shown you the number of, India having 216 researchers in the international ground? Very happy? Very happy to see India to have 200 plus researchers only for every 10 lakh people? Yes, the answer is no, right? Now, if it is no, if your answer is no, then what would make you happy? Can I say, like, we want all Indians, we want India to be number one? How to make India to be number one in that list? South Korea was having like more than 7,100 inventors per 10 lakh people, right? Typically, then we need more than 8,000 inventor for every 10 lakh in India. If you try to do the calculation of 130, 140 citizens, then the total number of inventors that we need is very, very high. But somewhere we need to start the journey, right? What can we do? Forget about making like 216 to 8,000. Just think about how can we add just 1 to 216. As I said, this 216 was the old number, like 7-year-old number, right? Now, I don't know, it may be 300, 400, 1,000. I don't know, whatever the number, but whatever may be today's number, if I need to add 1 plus 1 people to it, let's assume, and of course, like we are already in 135 crore Indians, we are going towards 140, but let's just take a minimal number, 130, let's say we are 130 crore Indians, right? Now, if we assume like we are 130 crore Indians, then just to add plus 1 per million, we need 1,300 inventors, new inventors, who have never filed any research paper, who have published any research paper, who have never filed any patents in the past. We need a fresh 1,300 new inventors. Okay. So now, this is what the India Patent Initiative is all about, right? We ran this phase 1 of India Patent Initiative till last week. 22/02/2022 was the first phase date. Now we are going to the second phase. And see, I mean, our first phase is over. I am just doing the calculation of how many people have filed a patent in the last. We were driving this initiative for last close to 2 years. So I'm just doing a calculation. I'll get to know the number maybe in another 15, 20 days. So in the second phase also, we are just continuing. Our ambition is to make 1,300 new inventors in India from now to this date, 24/02/2024, right? Just a fancy number, easy to remember kind of, right? And this is what we call it as Mission India +1. So Indian Patent Initiative is our larger initiative, and our next 2-year short-term plan is to accomplish Mission India +1, right? So if you feel like this is something sensible and you want to be part of this initiative, remember this date. All we need is, if you want to be part of this initiative formally, I'll tell you the formality in the next slide. Or else, if you want to just contribute, start planning your patent, maybe 1 or 2 or more. Remember this date, at least before this date, try to file at least 1 patent or 1 research paper in India, for India, on your name, on your college name, on your company name, right? Whatever it is. And if you want to be formally part of it, you can register either you or your institution, and it's a non-monetary, like for membership. Actually, like there was a membership fee and all that, but after that India Patent Initiative started, we waived off all the membership related stuff till 2024. The date that is mentioned. Even if you're going to get a membership from Researchers Academy, it is completely complimentary, both institutional and individual. And if you are becoming member of Researchers Academy, you will be able to make use of the Researchers Academy's circle, known experts, and so on. There are good number of universities as part of this initiative, both from south and north. We are keep adding institutions, and we are trying to help in a small way to these institutions and individuals. So if you want to be part of it, you are most welcome. So that's all. Primarily, I want to talk. I mean, see, I mean, I do believe that in a short 1.5 hour, 2 hour session, you know, we won't be able to teach you everything unless you sit for a semester class with an expert in any institution. But at least my intention is, like, I want to show the current status of India when it comes to the statistics, patent statistics in a global ground, and give you some basics and some technicality of innovation and patents, so that my intention is that each one of you on the call, each one of you are listening online in YouTube, you should start your innovation journey, the patent journey or intellectual property journey, be it research paper or think about a copyright or think about filing a patent or whatnot, right? If you want to reach out, so I'm leaving my coordinates. You can reach out to me. You know, I would love to connect with you, with all of you on LinkedIn. So here is my LinkedIn profile. Like, you know, it's a small world. I would love to connect with each one of you. Send me the request. And then this is my WhatsApp number in case if you want to get more input or you want some more help, you can WhatsApp me. We can fix up a mutual time, and if needed, we can get into a call, discuss, or write an email. Anyway, I am open for collaboration. I wish you all the best. But you know, we'll do Q&A now. But that's all I want to talk at high level about innovation and patents. Hope you have learned a bit. Yeah, question and answer. You can either unmute yourself and you can talk, or else you can also paste your questions in the chat window. Probably somebody from MYRA would coordinate your questions to me. Please shoot your questions. Any doubt, anything you want to discuss? Yeah, don't think your questions. You can shoot. Yeah, this is the right time. Or if you want to unmute, please unmute and you can ask your question directly. Abhi, just look at YouTube also. If somebody is posting questions there, you can coordinate the question. Or Neha, maybe. Anybody from MYRA? You can moderate the questions from YouTube live. Okay, so Parba asked the question, can you please explain, can you please give an example of a typical patent? Okay. See, I'm sure you must be remembering the PSM, the patent subject matter stuff, right? Anything of that sort can be a potential patent. Okay. For example, you are building a new security product. Okay, there are a lot of security products that are available. Let's say you are coming up with a new encryption algorithm. Okay, let's say you are designing a more complex encryption algorithm, and that runs in cloud, through which what you are doing is you are making the complex encryption and decryption to happen within few nanoseconds by optimizing, by introducing a new innovative performance method in the server, cloud server side. Now, this performance enhancement plus the encryption is something, let's say it's very new to the world. Now, this can be patentable. Or let's say, okay. Like all of you use mobile phone, correct? You may be using BSNL, Airtel, Jio, and the likes. Now, let's say if I come up with an algorithm, or if I come up with an engine, if I come up with a tool and say, guys, let's imagine you run a small company and you have 100 people in your company, and per month you are spending 1,000 rupees on Airtel mobile bill. So 1,000 for 100 people, which is almost 1 lakh every month your company is paying for telephone bill, I mean mobile bill. Now, if I come up with an algorithm or a tool and says, hey, look at it, you install my app into all of your mobile phone, And then, this tool will optimize the mobile usage of your users, and then we'll make some changes into the basic plan such that every month this tool will save you 30% of your bill for every single user. At the same time, the users will get every facility whatever they are consuming so far. Meaning, out of 1 lakh, this tool says from next month onwards you can only pay 70,000, not 1 lakh per month. And out of which I say, okay, out of the 30 whatever I have saved, you give me 10%, 3,000. Now, as it is a good model, good business model, at the same time, this tool which I described can be patentable, right? So any field, as long as you think about building something new and it has a technical steps and novelty, and the steps are having some new non-obviousness, that is patentable. Yeah. Here is the next question. Does patenting restrict opportunities for people to build on an idea? Yes. Let's say if you come up with an idea and you patent it, and then you introduce the product to the market, now you may get a competitor who will do a similar business, but they cannot repeat the same method or same way how you are doing, as long as it is patented. Okay, and granted. It's not just filing, you should get a grant. They can do a business, same business in different way. They need to hit the head. I'll give you an example. In 2015, when we started a cloud analytics service unit in Accenture, we were one of the initial companies in the world. We did not have any much competitors. And then over a period of time, at Accenture, we have built more than 20 products. And then Accenture has like 70 plus patents in the cloud analytics area. Now, though people see a good potential in this business, but our competitors, they are also doing this business to some of their clients, but they are struggling to build the product that we have built because all our products are patented. Now, if they are building a similar product, they need to make sure they are not replicating knowingly or unknowingly, they are not replicating the ideas that we have built. The moment they introduce a tool, and if we come to know and if we are able to prove to the legal court that somewhere in their new tool our ideas are implemented, which we have patented, then they need to pay a huge amount of money. They need to lose the business, right? So the competitor really struggles. That's the beauty of patenting. If you want to plan for a business, it will really restrict your competitors to build from your idea. They can come up something similar. They need to be sure of differentiating their idea than yours. So, for example, invention like seat belt. Okay, interesting question. So, I talked about patent, but I did not talk about the validity of it. So, any patent, except few in a pharma industry, some exceptions are there, but even in pharma industry, this is a common statement. Generally, any patent is after filing, it is valid for 20 years. What that means is, let's say I am filing a patent today. After 2 years, I am getting the patent granted. Okay. The patent grant is the legal process. Okay. After 2 years, I'm getting a patent grant, or after 3 years, I'm getting a patent grant, and after 5 years, I'm getting a patent grant. But the grant period is irrespective. The validity of the ownership of the patent is for 20 years from the date of filing. Today, I file a patent. From today, next 20 years, I own the patent. Let's say if I expire, the right will go on to my kids, my family, for next 20 years. Now, what happens after 20 years? After 20 years, that patent is universally available for anybody to follow. Meaning, if you have an idea, you need to make monetary benefit out of it within 20 years. Right? Within 20 years, you can charge. If somebody, you are giving it to somebody, they are using it, you can officially make them to pay a royalty or fee or a contractual money for next 20 years legally. In many cases, many organizations, even after 20 years, after 30, 40, 50 years also, for some of the great patents, they'll keep paying the remuneration to the person who invented and their family, etc. In some cases, the reverse also happens. Many companies, they don't really honor to pay. That also happens. But this is legally 20 years you are owner. After that, that idea is universally open. Anybody can make use of it. Nobody can restrict it. That patent can be granted in India, US, Europe, UK, Australia, doesn't matter. Anybody in as long as you are a living being, you want to use it, you can use it. So, where is line between patenting and protecting something versus letting something be open and used for good? So, that's a good question. So, see, patenting is all about protecting. Okay. When we say protecting now, I'll say I am introducing this technology concept and I want to patent it. After that, what I want to do with that patent is up to me. Now I can say that, okay, I'm giving this patent to the entire world. Anybody can use it. So you can let people use it after even protecting, right? If you say, no, I don't want to patent it, I want to give it open, there is a small disadvantage that I see. If you don't protect it, if you give it totally free, somebody else may make a small tweak, small changes, and they may get patented and they may take the ownership of it. You may lose you don't need to benefit it as a monetary, but at least if you protect it on your name, your legacy will stand for it. You don't need to make monetary. Otherwise, somebody else who is not legitimate would get the benefit out of it. But again, this is purely a subjective thing to argue. There are so many experts, so many rich people, or so many rich from heart people. They have contributed to technology, pharma, retail, and other worlds, many things freely without protecting it through patent. So that is also possible. It's all the individual's call. Okay, so I assume no more questions. Okay, I mean, I think then there's a time to conclude. Thank you so much to MYRA School of Business. MYRA is one such differentiated B school that I have come across. I happen to visit multiple universities, both B schools and E schools and other institutions. I like something in every institution, but MYRA is unique in its own way. I'm so happy to be part of it, and I'm so happy that MYRA is hosting me for such a an important event, an important seminar, and thank you so much, MYRA. A special thanks to the great dean that MYRA has got. You're a blessed person, and if I spend 2 minutes with RSR, I would have learned probably 20 hours of knowledge. So at times I get jealous by looking at both the regular faculty and the students of MYRA. You are very fortunate to have a great dean who comes with a truly global experience, and the management, Kantaraj sir, you're purely gold in heart. People who would have interacted, how good person is my good friend, and thank you so much. And thank you, Abhi, and other coordinating people who wonderfully coordinated it, even made the registration seamlessly. And from day one, we planned, and today, like, we have completed the execution. So the whole credit goes to the organizing team. Thank you so much. And at last, the participants, believe me, this is one of the very active participation that I have seen in the recent times. You are a wonderful audience. You made the dais and the speaker very comfortable. Thank you so much for bearing me for almost more than 2 hours. I hope today you would have learned a bit out of innovation and patents. I'm sure, actually, like, we are planning to have more in-school events in MYRA on patenting innovation, more on the ground, and more of building it out and contributing to the society, kind of. So we are having some initiatives, so you can look forward to MYRA announcements, emailers, etc. In near future. I look forward to talking to many of you, meeting you in person whenever we get opportunity. Like, most of you have seen me on video. I couldn't see a lot of you on a video, but if you see me somewhere, just to say hi to me, just introduce yourself and tell me that we all met in MYRA live webinar, and probably, like, we can have a coffee, tea somewhere, and we can have a quick chat if possible. So happy. Thank you so much, everyone, for the opportunity and being here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a great session for us. So, anybody else who wants to talk to Madhan sir, as he had shared the contact details, you can directly contact him on email, phone, or LinkedIn. So, yeah. Thank you, sir.